Hello, North Harnan High School. My name is Greg Cottrell. I am the principal here at North Harnan High School, for those of you who don't know me. And it is my pleasure to welcome everybody back to our exciting new 2020 school year. It's going to be an interesting start for all of us. I think we have a great plan in place to deal with the new restrictions for coronavirus, and that's what I want to explain in this video today, is some of the changes that our students will expect to see as they return to North Harnan High School in just over a week on next Thursday, August 27th, our first day of school of our hybrid learning schedule. So our hybrid learning schedule, to start with that, we have split our student population into two groups, Group A through L and then Group M through Z. So we are starting on the 27th with Group A, last names A through L, will be able to come into the building that day for in-person instructions, while Group B is at home for virtual learning. As a reminder, any student can choose virtual learning. So if you would like to opt out of any in-person instruction, an email was sent with your ability to do that. A student, again, can opt to do totally virtual instruction and not participate in the hybrid learning model. So a couple things to talk about for those students who are coming in to our hybrid learning model is, first thing is masks. Very important. Masks are required for students at all times while at North Harnan High School. Okay, so the CDC has sent out guidelines of what a mask entails, and you'll get some of that in your email about our specific requirements for masks. But as per the current New Jersey statute, face coverings, I should say, is what it technically says. Face coverings are required in school at all times by both staff and students, unless you have a medical reason not to wear one. And if you do have a medical reason not to wear one, we will need that in a documentation from your doctor. So a few things going through our list of things to talk about today. Number one is our cafeteria. The Cafeteria A, and there should be a picture of that on your screen right now, is the only spot in the school that you will be permitted to take your mask off while you are sitting down eating. So the control of students into the cafeteria is going to be restricted, so we do not exceed our capacity of the allowable students that we can have in there. And the only time a student will be permitted to take their mask off is when they are sitting down at one of those desks eating. Now you'll see that we remove the cafeteria tables, so students will only be able to be permitted in the cafeteria to sit down and eat after they purchase their food. They'll need to keep their mask on while they're purchasing their food. And then while they're sitting down, obviously you need to remove the mask to eat. There will be no food that is allowed to leave the cafeteria during the instructional day or at the beginning of the day. Our cafeteria is only going to be open from 7:15 until 7:45 in the morning for students to get breakfast and eat that breakfast again in the cafeteria. And then at the end of the day, from starting at 11:55 for our grab-and-go lunches. So again, that's an important option for many of our students, especially our students who are on free and reduced lunch, to have some healthy meal choices that are available to them. And we are making that happen, but our areas that are times allowable for students to actually consume that food in school is restricted. Another important item to discuss is pre-screening. Every student coming into the building will have to complete a pre-screening form. We're using a company, the name is Qualtrics. Our parents will receive an email from Qualtrics every morning that their student will come to school, and it will ask them questions about symptoms, any physical symptoms related to coronavirus that the student may have, or if they've traveled to any of our quarantine states. They will need to check off that, and the students will be asked to stay home. So every student coming into the building, and every staff member, by the way, will need to complete a pre-screening every morning on our Qualtrics system, which will be sent in a link to a parent's email or a staff member's email every morning for them to complete. So everyone in the building will have been screened for coronavirus symptoms. Students come into the building who are not pre-screened, we will be notified of them because through that system, and they will be going to our nurse's office for a screening there. The school itself will look quite a bit different. Students, just a heads up on that. Desks in classrooms will be spaced as far apart as possible. The goal is to reach 6 feet when feasible for all of our classrooms, but the rooms, students will be spread out in every classroom. We've designated certain stairwells as being up stairwells and down stairwells, and they have signs on the door so you know if this is an up stairway or a down stairway. Hallways, we're going to typically have, again, the one side or another, so traffic flow will be controlled. And you'll see some of our offices have clear designations of where students who are waiting should be standing to, again, keep that social distancing. Also, all of our classrooms are equipped with hand sanitizer, as well as spray bottles for desks to be sanitized, that the teachers will be sanitizing desks in between student use of the desk. Our resource rooms and guidance offices will be open. However, I would encourage students as much as possible to utilize electronic means of communication with teachers that they need assistance with in a resource room, or start by reaching out to your guidance counselor with an email and set up a time to meet with them either in Zoom, or you can meet with them in person. They are still available, and we still can do that. But again, let's try to utilize as much space as possible and use electronic means if we can. But again, our staff will be here and available. The first day of school, August 27th, Google Classroom. It's really important that our students have access to Google Classroom. So I'm going to back up a little bit before I get there. All of our classes will be conducted by teachers in a hybrid model. So they'll have students who are physically in front of them, as well as students who they are having a Zoom meeting with. So they'll be streaming their classes. So it's going to be a combination of both. So on August 27th, there'll be a group of students home. If you're in Group B of our groups of students, you'll be at home that day. So you need to access Google Classroom. Students need to access Google Classroom so that you can get a link to the Zoom meeting for that class that's taking place on the first day of school, August 27th. So students, make sure that you check your email. All teachers are going to be instructed to send their students an email with the class code to access their Google Classroom. So in order to access Google Classroom, you need a class code. And then once you're in Google Classroom, you'll get a link to the Zoom meeting for the class that day. But that all starts with email. So students, check your email, your school issued email, for an email from your teacher so you can learn how to access Google Classroom and get that Zoom link. That's important because of attendance, okay? What's a little bit different about the instruction that we're providing this fall versus what we did this spring is all of our instruction is designed to be synchronous, meaning that the students at home are virtually learning the same time as the students who are physically in class. Our teachers will be taking attendance every day for students who are physically present, so the students they see in front of them in class, as well as those students who are virtually present, the students who a teacher sees logged in on the Zoom class. So we are enforcing our attendance policy. So it's very important that a student, even if you're home, if it's your day to be virtually attending school at home, you need to log into that Google class or to that Zoom meeting at the time of the class. So we're doing synchronous learning during this hybrid instruction model. So it's very important that you are there, whether it's in person or virtually present at the time that that class meets. Also, a change with our classes you will see in our gym classes. Our locker rooms are not open, so students will not be changing for gym class, and there's also several restrictions that are in place that impact our ability to do different types of physical activity and sharing things like passing a ball back and forth. So much of our gym classes will be calisthenic types of activities or walking on the track, but students will not be changing for gym class. So I want to make sure students are aware of that as well. And just looking over my list of things to discuss here, I want to make sure we discuss the fact that we are working closely with our county health department in preparations for what we would do when students have symptoms. So symptoms of coronavirus or potentially positive cases of coronavirus. Our first step is going to be to contact our county health department. They've sent out guidance. It's through the Department of Education. That's been working with the Department of Health. And the types of things that we need to report. So if a student obviously has symptoms that are related to coronavirus, we will be notifying the health department of that and following their guidance. Same idea if we have a positive case that would come into the building or come in close contact with our students, we would be, again, immediately contacting our health department, following their guidance in terms of how they want us to go about the contact tracing and notification. And my light went off in here. There we go. Notification of students or teachers who would potentially have been in close contact with any student who had those symptoms or potential positive case. So with that, it's going to be a very interesting school year. I think we have a great plan in place, the best plan that we can, I should say. And I'm looking forward to getting everyone back into the building or back into learning in some way, shape, or form. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Also, we do have our grade level assistant principals. That really should be your first stop if you have a question related to your student. You can reach out to our grade level assistant principals. And if you're a freshman, that your grade level assistant principal is Miss Dietz. If you are a incoming sophomore, your grade level assistant principal is Mr. Flynn. If you are a incoming junior, your grade level assistant principal is Mr. Deutsch. And if you are an incoming senior, congratulations, it's your senior year, and your grade level assistant principal is Miss Kim. So I look forward to interacting with everybody, either virtually or in person, starting on August 27th. Thank you.